Yo, welcome back to the Boominverse. Finally, after so much time with your host, Marshall Boomin. I really want to tell y'all the amount of audio issues that I've had to record this has been quite insane. I really need to invest into something that is going to be a little bit easier to use. However, I did just buy a mic, which is on the way, which I am not recording this with. So again, I apologize for audio issues that have been or happening right now and also in the past. But, you know, things are coming to fruition a little bit better now as we're in the playoffs finally, right? There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to be excited for. And that's why I'm finally here, although I should have been here because I did sought out for a mission that I would be consistent on this platform, which I have not whatsoever. And it's just something that's, I guess not important in terms of growth as of really yet, but more or less of just something I want to make as a healthy hobby and something because it is something that I'm passionate about and something that I can talk about all day, all night, so here I am. But hopefully a lot more to come on a consistent basis. I do have a plan to coinciding version of the video, but on the Eastern Conference, and then maybe something that is going to develop, as a result of what happens in the first round of the playoffs and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, like I said, many audio issues, so I'm having to take another take of this. For the people that are here and listening, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please subscribe. And I would very much appreciate people that are listening. Feel free to follow me on socials. You see them popping up right down there below. But I appreciate y'all, and let's get into it, okay? So the Sacramento Kings have beat the Golden State Warriors in the first game of the first round of the NBA playoffs. And De'Aaron Fox scored, 15 points in the fourth quarter, a total of 38, and he led Sacramento to its first playoff win in 17 years. That's amazing. De'Aaron Fox is a great player. Domantas Sabonis is a great player who had a stinker, got clamped up by Mr. Looney and also Draymond Green. The crowd was just going, it was booming, right? It was loud, it was booming, it was crazy, and it was a very fun game to watch. Steph Curry had a chance to send it to overtime, but he did not. And he got all the slander possible for it, even though he was not, the Warriors are not in that position to win without Steph Curry doing what he did, basically, right? He did all that he could in the fourth quarter as well. But, De'Aaron Fox did a little bit more, This is a great matchup because, first of all, the teams match up very well with each other. A lot of guards are, placed in this rotation. Gary Payton, Dante DiVincenzo, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. You got Davion Mitchell, you got De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, and then Harrison Barnes, Andrew Wiggins, De'Aaron Fox. Wait, no, I already said him. Domantas Sabonis, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. Just that positionally, these are very small teams. They play small ball quite a bit, and there's some edges to both rosters that, might give them the edge in a series like this. However, my prediction and what I would suggest most of you guys should root for is that we want to get the Golden State Warriors out of here. I'm tired of their dynasty. But in all realistic, or, being a little bit more transparent, I believe that the Warriors will lose this series because they do not have home court advantage. And, again, I know everyone want to back them up in the way that they are a dynasty and they won the championship last year and, the Kings don't have no experience, but I mean, that part just kind of is what it is to me at this point. Again, I'm taking these teams for face value for what they are. Golden State Warriors just simply has not been the team that I've known them to be all this time over this dynasty that they have ran up. So I'm saying that this is the tail end of it, right? The literal tail end of it, because players are getting older. I don't know, Draymond's going to return to the team next year. And also, this is a very fun and exciting team in the Sacramento Kings, which are very underrated. A lot of people wanted to see them in the first round. The Warriors got them out of the bunch, and they're going to have a hard time with this roster because, again, matchup-wise, nothing really that the Warriors can do to overwhelm them, I think. And just think offensively, other than Steph Curry, I mean, even on a coaching level, right? They got Mike Brown, who's very familiar with the schemes that Steve Kerr will put out there. After all, this man was a substitute coach for that team for a while. Overall, though, I do got the Kings in 7, and again, the Golden State Warriors, if they do have any chance, they're going to have to win game 2. I don't know the likelihood of that, but if it does happen, maybe in 6. If they win game 2, then they got to follow that up. They got to prove to me that they can win on the road. I don't think they will, okay? Because they've lost in every single fashion possible on the road, and I don't know when it's going to end. So we'll just see. Keep watching, y'all. But like I said, Kings of 7 official prediction. Anyways, we move forward now with the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Los Angeles Lakers, which are this is a very, very entertaining series that I believe it would have been if Ja Morant was not hurt. And if Ja Morant was not hurt, because based off my evaluation of how I see it, I don't know if he's going to come back. I think he'll try to come back. I think it will not turn out very well, considering he's a very athletic player who's going to, we're going to leave him open. Like, we're going to leave him open way more now. That the fact that he hurt his wrist, I don't know what he's going to do with the ball in his hand unless he just has a magical heal of that wrist, and then things go very normal, and he's the same playoff riser that we know Ja Morant to be. However, I mean, his results were negative, but he did claim to have a 10 out of 10 pain scale on that. So I know 10 out of 10 pain is not very well. So, I mean, who knows? And that was a gruesome looking injury in the hand, which, we can pray that he is okay and he's able to come back. But at the end of the day, I think even if he is dwindled in any way, in any capacity, that he's not going to be the same. If he is, assuming, like I said, I think I'm just going to say my prediction, he will not be the same if he does return. But then we have Jaren Jackson, who he's been stepping up, especially with the whole off the court issues that Ja has had. There's a period he was averaging 30. He's still playing his defense, but when it comes to a playoff series against this elite talent in Anthony Davis and the depth that the LA Lakers do have, LeBron James, and like I said, the Lakers have a lot of depth. They have a lot of talent on that roster, which, a lot of people don't know about. Some of my friends don't really know about it because they hear some of these names, and you hear Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, they were cooking, right? And they're, who did this? Okay. They ain't been watching, they casuals, it's fine. But overall, right, I don't expect, those performances to be especially there on the road for these players. If it is, that, the more the merrier. But LeBron's going to have to look like playoff version of LeBron, which he did in increments last night, not the entirety of the game. He looks tired more and more, which is understandable due to his old age. But I can see him pushing through it and having a couple of really, really good games that are going to damn near guarantee us a win. AD, he's going to look like AD defensively, the real defensive player of the year, in my honest opinion. And then secondly, again, Jaren Jackson, him now having to exert so much more offensively. I think that's going to take away from him a little bit defensively. Also, again, not having Steven Adams or Brandon Clark or not really anyone around him to allow him to roam how he normally would. At least Xavier Tillman, he'll try, but I don't think he's going to do the job that we need him to, or they need him to do. So yeah, that's about it. Overall, I mean, if Ja's not able to come back and look like himself, Lakers in 5, okay? And I got a $100 bet on that too, at least to win the series, but let me digress. So this game, right, this topic in general is typically pretty polarizing for, people that know me, or maybe even a little bit with myself, conflict of interest in one way or another, because I am a Laker fan, as y'all know. If not, now you do. I am also a huge Russell Westbrook supporter. I have been since his MVP season. KD left because OKC was my second team from Seattle and such, right? Followed them. Russ, love Russ, so I follow him everywhere now. But at the same time, he's on the Clippers, right? He's on the Clippers that demolish my team all the time. So in one way or another, I don't want to support him. But, at the same time, I want to see Russ succeed so much that I'm in a position where I'm like, let's see him do good with the Clippers and them also win. Because, if the Clippers lose, they're going to attribute all the blame on him, at least from Twitter, right? Mainstream media. West Brick. Nah, bro. Yes, and he shot 3 for 19. He threw up a lot of bricks yesterday, but that's still Westbrook. That's still Clutch Brook. That's still Clamp Brook. That's still Athletic Brook, man. That man, he made a real impact last night. Yeah, I'm recording this on Monday, April 17th. That man, he did his thing. We're talking about a player who shot 3 for 19 and still made so many winning plays. It's like I said, it's polarizing, right, to say out loud. And so as they say one thing, but if you watch the game, he was definitely impactful in terms of rim pressure, kind of allowing, he was making the defense do things. He was crashing the defensive and offensive glass. He was finding people open. He wasn't turning turn the ball over like that. He did have a crucial one down late, but I don't even know who to attribute that to. But because like every time for any mistake he made, whether that was offensively, he made up for everything on the defensive end against a Devin Booker, against a Kevin Durant, against a Chris Paul, right? These are elite players in the NBA, and Russell Westbrook, not typically known as a great defender, at least in one way or another, off ball, whatever you want to take. He's always, to me, been a hell of a one-on-one defender, a smart defender, also still very athletic. So, and he's engaged, and you saw that he was engaged, and he made his efforts to, well, he allowed his efforts to win them the game. As much attention as Russell Westbrook is getting, I do want to give it to Kawhi Leonard, dropping 38 points, actually guarding Kevin Durant in stretches where that's what they want him to do. Want to see those elite matchups all the time because that's basketball, right? We don't see it now as much nowadays. Offensive oriented player, whichever. So basically, Kawhi Leonard exerting that, on both ends of the ball now is going to take away from one or the other. And he was showing it on both ends, scoring an efficient 38. An underrated part of Kawhi Leonard's game since he's been on the Clippers that he has been a very unselfish player as well, just overall becoming a better person in terms of maybe even being a secondary playmaker or an above average passer, which he wasn't back in his, Spurs days, let's say. Which is maybe credit a little bit to Ty Lue, of course. And then to follow that up as well, the Suns, Devin Booker, I'm happy to see them not succeed, so I'm going to leave it at that. But overall, I would just like to say that the Clippers, I have them winning in 6 as well, maybe 7, but overall official one is going to be 6. Hopefully Paul George is able to come back because he is a huge asset as long as he's not coming back as PG 13% or playoff P. Good old Paul George that we know and love. And we'll move on to the most boring game of the night in one way or another, right? It was the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets, which, from the start was it was okay, but, I guess there's just a level of dominance that, again, Nikola Jokic just does have. And, even with the size and all these things that the Minnesota Timberwolves do attain, in one way or another, that might seem like an advantage for them in stretching the floor and all this, it just doesn't compete because Jokic is just able to manipulate a defense no matter who the personnel is so good that I don't think we see him losing, especially with Naz Reid out and Jaden McDaniels out. That just is a lot of offensive and defensive versatility that, in my opinion, was the only chance for this series to be competitive in any way. Yeah, kind of what it is, and I don't know because it was a 30-point blowout. Obviously, there's going to be some adjustments, but I think there's just a bit too much shooting, a bit too much chemistry on this roster for them to say that, hey, we're not going down as a 1 seed, because overall, they won by 30 and all. It looked very nonchalant though at the same time. So really all that it is though. Like I said though, for me, I do anticipate that I will be making a second video on the Eastern Conference version, so check that out. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, etc. And hope you'll have a great one. Take care. Time to edit this, and peace out. Yo, welcome back to the